Hello. Oh, yes. Hello, Internet. It is Sunday afternoon. It is 2 p.m. and it is time. Let's draw. This week, we are continuing to work on our Black and White Volume 2 trading card for the Black and White Trading Card Fan Art Contest. And we've been working on this for a week or two. Last week, we had some audio issues, and I trust that those are sorted out now. Hopefully they are, because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to get it to work better. Not sure what it was, but there was some buzzy, crackly stuff. So here we are on part 3 of Let's Draw, and working on our illustration for a 3.5 by 2.5, something like that, trading card for Black and White. And I think I'm going to switch over to bigonate this thing. There we go. I think that works a little bit better. Let's Draw is the show that I do every Sunday afternoon while my kids are napping, and I need you to show up to be my accountability partner, because if I don't block out this time and make myself draw on Sunday afternoons, then I won't find time the rest of the week to do it. So I need you here to keep me accountable and make sure that I show up and make sure I do my job. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe for notifications. The show comes up on Wednesday, and the show comes up on Sundays, and but the notification for the show is up all week. And also, we have a daily show that we do, which is our Monday through Friday talk show called Your Two Dads. Your Two Dads is where Deacon and I talk about news, politics, culture, etc. The notifications for those go up daily, and that show is at 6:30 in the morning. But the notifications for Let's Draw, the Sunday show, are separate. And if you want to follow the show, then hit those notifications, and we will let you know as soon as we go up. So last time we met and worked on this piece, and I haven't really worked on it since last week. I figured out how I want the character Reed to sit on the card, and how I want the drama of the card to kind of be presented, which is here in the mid ground. We have the character Whitney fighting some of the robots we'll maybe see if we can squeeze some more robots in the background there. And I want that to be the center of the card and the action line of the card. So from top left, you see a big robot, and then maybe I'll put another small robot in here for scale. And then we have Whitney, and then we have her fighting a small robot. And then maybe I'll do some more stuff back here, but I want the kind of through line of action to be here. These three figures in a row, and then kind of in a blind spot for the viewer, because you'll be kind of looking at this, will be Reed drawing down on you. So that's the gimmick and the idea of the card. At any time during the show, I may have to stop and go check on my kids, who are to be napping, but it looks indeed like she has fallen asleep. So we are in luck. So I want to draw every Sunday, and I would love it if you would come hang out and draw with me. And if you are drawing, let me know. Send in some chats, send in some tweets, and we'll try to put it up on screen if we can figure that out. So here we go. I'm JJW. This is Let's Draw. Welcome to Sunday afternoon. We've got an hour, maybe a little bit longer. The plan is 2 to 4, but kids come first, right? So let's go back over here. There we are. So here is Reed. You can see I've started to lay in some lines. So the way that I have this image kind of started is looks like I have a vector layer here, and then I have some layouts in various different colors representing the different characters on the screen. So the lines look pretty thin, and I realize that there's not a lot of weight to the vector lines at the moment, but that's the advantage of drawing in vector, is that I can change the weight of those lines later. I forget exactly which pen I was using. I was probably using a G pen, or perhaps I think I was probably just using my Kolinsky. Where's my Kolinsky pen? I was messing around with my pins earlier this week, and I probably dropped one out. So this is Clip Studio Paint, of which I am not an expert by any means in using this application, but I figured out a couple of things. I'm going to go in and import my support tool. Let me find where I stuck this thing. Here. Kelsey's ink brush. There it is. The old Kolinsky brush. I recently also imported the legendary Line Art 2 brush, which is a pencil and has these settings: dual brush, opacity, all this kind of stuff. I'm not sure, but his pen pressure is kind of at this slope here, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to go over to the Kolinsky brush and see he's got pen pressure inverted. He's also got tilt enabled, and is Comicsgate a real thing? I got a notification in my Discord server. So if the fella shows up, I will try to give him an answer. But let's kick on our music. Alright, that's as much as I can give him. Oh, I need to remap my... I think I want to look over here. Let me switch screens. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let me fix that. All right, here we go. See the reference for read. Buckaroo Bonsai. Let me turn this down. Since you're listening, maybe you can let me know if it's too high or too low. Okay, so thanks for showing up. Appreciate you watching. I'll let you know what I'm doing right here. I am drawing a trading card for Black and White Volume 2 by, it's not Aaron Lepresti, Art Theibert. But yeah, music is a bit high. Let me drop that down. Thank you for the feedback. I'll just drop it way down. All right, so look, in fact, it might distract me. It's way down. Yeah, this is, I think it's like White Rat by, okay, cool. So let me give you the skinny on Comicsgate. And the first thing I'll tell you is that you probably shouldn't trust me, but you also probably shouldn't trust anybody else either. Comicsgate. A name that was intended to deride the members of it in the same way that the term Gamergate was meant to deride, gamers back in the 2010s. So what happened was there were artists. You should always trust nobody. There were artists and writers and creators that worked for Marvel, DC, and other publishers or whatever, and basically they held disparate views, all kinds of different views. But the fundamental view they had was like, tell good stories, draw good art. It's not such a big deal. Then in like the 2015, 2016 era, a bunch of politically minded activists started getting employed by Marvel, DC. And the reason why they're getting employed is because they wanted to create art, but they wanted to advance whatever their political agenda was. And Marvel and DC want to save money, and instead of paying artists that value their craft, they hire people off of Tumblr or whatever that are nobodies and have low page rates. So these mediocre nobodies get employed into Marvel and DC, and now they feel like they have a sense of like justification, entitlement, whatever, because they're now Marvel and DC artists, and they can use that as a hammer to bludgeon their agenda. So these people get up and start working in Marvel and DC, and the old guard, and not necessarily politically conservative, just traditional artists or older talent, start getting sidelined on jobs. And in the case of at least one, but several that I'm aware of, but the fans have taken over the wheelhouse. I wouldn't say it's fans. I would not say it's fans. So Ethan Van Sciver was probably one of the first, and in 2018, he basically was harassed out of working at DC and canceled or whatever. And he left DC because he was like getting nothing but harassment. And so then what do you do when you are a professional comic book artist and you can't work at Marvel and DC? Well, it turns out your options are not tremendously all over the place, especially if you want to make comic books. So he started crowdfunding his own books on you met Ethan Van Sciver back in the 90s? I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. That dude is super funny. So he started basically raising money to crowdfund his own books. And over the course of a year or two, he released Cyberfrog Blood Honey, which is a pickup of his he's a nice guy, but he loves to troll the people on the left. So this is a modern take of his characters from Harris Comics from the 1990s, which he also published that. So since 2018, Ethan Van Sciver has been kind of at the forefront of Comicsgate. There were others before him, but he's got more of a personality and he's more of an entertainer. And he uses his, he's built a YouTube channel of like 100,000 people or whatever, selling his material, and then he uses that to promote other Comicsgate artists, so other professionals that are either canceled from the industry and need to go it alone, or I'm 44, sir. You're probably not that much super older than me, if at all. You can find Ethan Van Sciver on YouTube. In fact, on my channel, I have a bunch of links, including those. And in my description for this video, I've got a link probably to Cyberfrog Rekt Planet, which is the second volume. So I think this is an interesting story. So about, you obviously know me from the, 52, cool. You obviously know me from the Discord server. And about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I couldn't even tell you. 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't know what Comicsgate was either. So somebody said to me, "What's your opinion of Comicsgate?" And my opinion was like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Well, so, I started like looking into what's what, and I started following Ethan Van Sciver, and I was like, oh, I get it. This guy's acting like a massive misogynist and acting like a sexist or whatever in order to just like irritate these people. But really, he's just a traditionally, classically liberal guy, probably holds very moderate positions in my opinion. He's a New Jersey Republican, so he probably holds like positions left of where I am, and I'm a pretty moderate person. So he's just like, anyway, he's a funny dude. So Ethan Van Sciver, Shane Davis was pretty up, high up, DC artist. Shane Davis left, and he did a book called Starlight Cats, and he's right now, I think he just closed the campaign on Inglorious Rex. So the Ethan Van Sciver in the last 4 years since he's been canceled. Oh, you were in my alliance. I'm sorry. I never took it seriously enough, or I just couldn't deal with all the drama of coordinating people. So Ethan has made probably $6 million selling his own books instead of making a few $100,000 over the last 4 years doing stuff for DC. And Shane Davis just closed a $300,000 campaign. And honestly, some of the best books that I have been right out of Comicsgate. I wouldn't call those Comicsgate, but if you know who Bane is, Bane was created by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. Chuck Dixon has done a whole bunch of these Comicsgate books, writing mostly for Zach, which is Richard Meyer, who is a civilian normie that got irritated with all of the agenda being pushed by these, editors and, activists at the Major 2. So Zach was like criticizing comics, and then they're like, well, if you can do it better, do it better. And so Zach was like, okay, I'll just make my own comics. So, I'll get to Zach in a second, but Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon created Bane. Well, Graham Nolan came out of, I guess, he joined Comicsgate, and he's one of the Comicsgate kings. He's one of the kind of like more prominent and more successful creators that is part of this movement. He made a book a couple of years ago called Chinoo, which is a 48-page horror monster story that takes place in like, I think it's like in Colorado or something like that, with this nasty monster. And this is a cool book because the whole book is black and white, you know, except for where there needs to be blood. So this is a pretty awesome little story. And then last year, Graham, and that's autographed, by the way, autographed by Graham Nolan. Last year, he published Alien Alamo, which is a story that takes place in 1957 in Texas, where these this Vietnam vet and his family fight off a bunch of alien bugs. And that is also, I believe, signed right there. So for the last, yeah, it is really cool. So for the last 3 or 4 years, instead of buying Marvel and DC, I mean, for honestly, for years, I was just like, the hell with this. I don't care about this. You guys can turn Iceman gay and every other character gay, and you can make them this or whatever. So it's just like my affinity for and affection for all of those characters was going down and down and down and down because they're just using the characters to just do bullshit. Jonathan Hickman did some awesome stuff, and then like 2017 or whatever, he did. Maybe it's 2018 or 2019. It's 2018 or 19. Jonathan Hickman was like, "Oh, we're gonna move all the mutants to Krakoa, and it's gonna be all like plant-based stuff now." And then they just became like mutant segregationists, and it just was like right in the toilet. And I was like, "Okay, if this is what is like you guys are into, that's cool." But I got off the bus, and I stopped buying Spider-Man and X-Men like a long time ago. And I was just like, "There's just nothing for me to come back to." And like, you know. I guess my time was when I was younger, and now it's not for me anymore. So instead of buying books from Marvel and DC, I've been spending my comic book money on this stuff. And not everything is great, but most of it's pretty great. Yeah, I mean, this is like. The current X-Men is 0 interest. This book is called Expendables Go to Hell. So Richard Meyer was a normie civilian and a critic of comic books, and just like he would read them and he would just make these videos and he would complain about people not doing a good job or sometimes giving him praise. And then they were like, well, if you're so great, you do it yourself. He wrote his own books, Jawbreakers, Lost Souls, and then he followed that up with like he's got 2 more, fourth one's coming out or whatever. But he got a license from Stallone to do Expendables Go to Hell, and he did this in 2020, 2021. This cover is by Kelsey Shannon, who I really love his art. But this, I was backing this because I was backing some of his other stuff. And while I like Expendables, it's not my favorite movie franchise of all time. And while I like Stallone, I normally probably wouldn't buy a Stallone comic, but I backed this anyway. And this book is so fun and so good. And it's a like fun romp adventure where all of the Expendables die and go to hell. And then they're fighting like Hitler and Nazis and Genghis Khan and a bunch of stuff. And then like there's a twist at the end. So it's like super fun. Oh yes, Jim Starlin is doing a Kickstarter for Dreadstar, which I think is like a I watched a video for that, and so far I'm not sold yet. I mean, like, I was never like the biggest Infinity War Thanos fan in the first place. I've read several of Jim Starlin's other Thanos related stuff, and it's like, you know, I'll take it or leave it. Dreadstar, as he described it, was like Guardians of the Galaxy before Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. But I'm kind of keeping my eye on it. Whoa, sorry, Hellboy. Not everything that is creator funded and creator campaigned is Comicsgate, but Comicsgate was my window into like, oh, indie comics and crowdfunded comics, because there's definitely a lot of creators that are like adjacent to and don't necessarily share the same values as the Comicsgate, which the Comicsgate people are generally like keep your agenda out and make fun comics and make stuff that customers want to buy, because it's very evident that customers don't want to buy the everybody is gay social stuff, making jokes about food or whatever is like in right now. Customers are not buying. So instead of that, make stuff that customers buy, make product that customers buy or want, which is such a radical opinion to hold. So yeah, Jim Starlin. David Finch has done an art book. David Finch is an artist from X-Men for sure, but also early Wildstorm Wildcats, I think. He did Moon Knight. He did a Moon Knight run. Anyway, David Finch. He's a really nice Canadian dude. He's got a YouTube channel on art. But David Finch did a book that's just a collection of a year of drawings that he did like this, just on YouTube, and he would meet for 2 hours every Monday and just draw on YouTube. So he's done an art book, and he's not really Comicsgate. I think he's just like, I think he's friendly with Ethan, and Ethan is really kind of like the center square of Comicsgate. Around him, there's a lot of other creators. Some you might know, some you may not. Graham Nolan, though, he's for sure in the Comicsgate. John Malin, yeah. Comics should be fun adventures for kids. And traditionally, superhero comics, American superhero comics, appealed to boys, you know? And not that they can't appeal to girls, but like trying to appeal to girls or appealing to girls in all the books has resulted in boys not buying comics. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think they should be fun adventures where story matters more, and all of your real world politics should be like checked at the door, or at least be as good a storyteller as, you know, Alan Moore was. Alan Moore, heavily critical of the right in Watchmen, but he depicted characters that held different views, and he depicted them honestly. You know, he depicted characters that were right of whatever Alan Moore felt or believes in, but it wasn't like depicting them right of him and also evil. He was able to tell stories of people that held different beliefs and different opinions than himself. So, you know, I mean, it's like, honestly, it just seems like the people that work in the mainstream now don't take the craft of storytelling as seriously, and they don't care about successfully selling books. They'll just relaunch a book again and again and again, and they'll relaunch a book, or they'll, you know, whatever, lie about being successful. So anyway, Comicsgate basically is a bunch of professionals that have been, for various reasons, either pushed out of the industry or I think that's pretty fair to say, either pushed out of the industry or have been maybe not finding it uncomfortable, or they're not making it as much money. And the reality is that anyone working in professional comics right now is not making the page rates. Their page rates probably haven't gone up ever, or at least in the last 25 years, because, you know, DC pays what DC pays, and you either take it or don't. And, you know, you either take the gig or you don't. So, not sure how I want to do this exactly. I think I don't want to use the line pen. Oh, so the one I'm working on, Art Theibert, black and white. Art Theibert's an artist from X-Men. If you've ever seen the issue of Cable number 1, yes. Yeah, Rorschach, that's a good example. So Cable number 1 was actually drawn by Art Theibert, and then So in 1997, Art did a comic series. It was like a 4-issue miniseries with Image called Black and White, starring those two characters. And now Art is running his own campaign. He is in the center group of what I would call Comicsgate, the Comicsgate people, which is an expansive group, contains a lot of people of different political views. They just like basically anyone that's just not a crazy person can, and if you just want to tell stories, you're in. Like, that's it. So Art Theibert is anyway. He's doing Black and White. There's a link to that campaign in the description below, and he did a remastered version of it a year or two ago, which is he took his stuff from 1997, collected it into a book, redrew some of it, maybe all of it. I don't know honestly how much he redrew, and he published Black and White Remastered. And he's currently running the campaign for Black and White Volume 2. That's the cover by Michael Rocafort. Kenneth Rocafort. And anyway, those two characters. So he's raised over 100,000, and so he's doing an art contest for a trading card. So here is my concept for the trading card. I'm gonna have the character Whitney in the background fighting a giant robot, fighting a little robot, and you kind of have this have this line from up here to down here of action with these robots, and I'll probably put another robot or two in there. And then this is meant to draw the eye because it's like 3 characters in a row engaging and like action happening. And then, whoops. Hope I didn't close my... Oh, whoa. Get over there. I don't know why that happened. Ugh. Dizzy. And then, so these 3 characters are fighting, and then probably later when you're holding the card, like, it won't be that much later, it'll be a split second later, but you'll see Whitney's butt, and you'll see the robots fighting. That's obviously going to draw your eye, and then afterwards you will see, oh, Reed has actually got a bead on you, and he's about to shoot you in the face. So that's the gimmick for my card. So I'm working on this card for this campaign, and there's a couple other campaigns I have like links below, but this book right here is probably the first great Comicsgate book that I picked up, which was Monster MD by a new creator. So much like Zach was like a civilian, Von Klaus was not a professional writer at all, and he basically just like launched himself with crowdfunded projects, and this is his first outing. And this book is drawn by a person formerly known as what was it? Sorry, I want to get the name right. I think it was Michael McCagney. This book is illustrated by a McCagney. It's now that's not her name anymore. So he is now a she, and but she's great and pretty dynamic artist. So, and I got, this is like 30% of my stuff has come in, and a bunch of it hasn't come in yet. So, I mean, I'm finding like people that are like doing interesting stuff, and like, so I'm not beholden to anything. If I don't like it, I just won't buy anything else. And if I do like it, I want them to keep going. So I'm going to put my dollars there. And there's less gap between my dollars and the artists that I think are fun and interesting and cool. Whereas there's a bunch of it going to overhead for. So if you find, like, honestly, I don't even know how you find one title right now from Marvel or DC that's like worth your time. Maybe Image. But I mean, I can't think of anything that I'm like, I'm in every month. I'm in. It's also been interesting to transition from going from like a monthly pull list type thing to just doing trades. And now just doing trades, and I may pay for it and not get it for 6 months or a year. And honestly, internally, that really changed my internal clock, because I'm used to, like, I'm going to pick something up and I like it. Oh, I like it so much, I'll get the next issue. And I'm actively like involved in, third tier characters. I used to be like, it used to be like going to the comic shop was like a weekly addiction, or even a monthly like addiction. And I mean, now I rarely go at all. Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man, X-Men, Avengers. I would say that the last time any of that was any good was not even Avengers versus Inhumans, which was pretty weak sauce. The last thing that was pretty good was, and I think it was Hickman that did the Battle World stuff with, maybe it was Hickman. I don't know who did it, but it was when they did, the Godhead Doom, and they did Battle World. Boom Studios, I think they may be doing some interesting stuff. Image, take it or leave it. I mean, I have some stuff. I can't think of anything right now that I would be grabbing towards. I think the last... I definitely bought Big Girls, and which was, I think that might have been Boom, but it might have been IDW. Miller World stuff is pretty fun, and I would say that this is kind of, I mean, Mark Miller's in his own position, right? Like, he can still publish stuff from a major label, but I mean, he has the clout to do whatever he wants. So, like, his stuff is great. Dreadstar was pricey, you think so? Let's look at that campaign real quick. Let me pull it up. Oh, where's my... Here, I'll do it here. I'll pull it up and then I'll drag it over. Dreadstar. Let's see if it's on Kickstarter right at the top. Poor Jim Starlin. Doesn't really know how to manage search engine optimization. So I saw Jim's video on this. So for $10, you get Dreadstar #1, which I assume is not the omnibus. So how much is he? What is he? She's publishing? I feel like he said it was quite a large book. So it's a 100-page hardcover. So, I mean, this is... Let me start at the top. So Dreadstar Returns is the issue. So $10 just gets you a run of the old stuff. I feel like this isn't organized very well. $20 gets you a PDF. Don't care about that. That's just a t-shirt. Okay, $30 gets you the graphic novel and the digital edition. So $30 plus $10 shipping, I bet. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. His campaign probably has great stuff in it. It doesn't look like it's like very well organized. And I will say this: most of the Comicsgate people don't use Kickstarter for a couple of reasons. One, there are people on Kickstarter, like Kickstarter corporate or whatever, that will actively like block or prohibit or ban creators from using this platform to sell the book. But more than that, Kickstarter doesn't collect the funds until like the very end of the campaign or something like that. I don't know. Most of the Comicsgate campaigns and most of the most of the successful campaigns, that is, some creators may run it on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but Indiegogo makes like so much more money. So, but Jim's over here doing his own thing. Jim is not in any way connected to Comicsgate, so he's just out doing his own stuff. Yeah, so this looks like $30 gets you the hardcover and then a digital edition. I would pass this over if there was anything that had the hardcover and not the digital edition. But it looks like this is the bottom. This looks like this is the bottom thing. So $30 gets you 100 pages new material, or Dreadstar Universe Guidebook hardcover, or for $30 you could get a, I guess it's a, whatever this guidebook is. And digital. Ugh. Hoodie. A hoodie and a book. $60 gets you Dreadstar hardcover and the guidebook and digital editions of both. There's variant cover. So this, like, I'm not familiar with this character. I never read this character. If you were familiar with it at all, this might be a, so either the $30 tier with the book, or this $60 tier that has new material and the guidebook or the campaign sidebook. So I've done several of these where I bought their book and then they had like a supplemental like art book, scratchbook. This is just comparison, right? So I told you this is one of the best books that I had ever gotten. This thing is like, I don't know, 180 pages or 120 pages or something like this. This is a hefty book. But then when I bought it, I also picked up the sketchbook, which is full of like drawings and notes and just like how his creative process. This was a great deal. That looks like the equivalent, to be honest. Time check, 3:11. Okay. Yeah, so that looks good. And then it looks like for $10 you can also pick a reprint of Dreadstar #1. And for $80 you get the hardcover, the guidebook, the reprint, the variant #1 reprint, and you get an art book, an Art of Jim Stalin black book. Well, that for $80, for, you know, $30, $30, $10. So for another $10 you get the Art of Jim Starlin, which, if you're into that, like I said before, I've never been like that into Thanos or Jim Starlin, but you know, that's just not my taste. But obviously if you're into it, like, that's the way to go right there. And then there's the ultimate thing. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's worth a second look, mostly because this appears to be rather poorly organized. It looks like he plans to do three books or something. I'm not real sure what he's doing here. Cosmic stuff. Yeah, This definitely looks like Jim Starlin's the one that did this. like he's running this campaign or something. This does not seem especially... Okay, so if you go way down to the bottom, you can see the stuff you actually are buying, like, you know, the perks or tiers. So $30 gets you the new material book. That's the guidebook. And then t-shirt, and then $60 gets you the variant cover bundle, okay, or the two hardcover books. It looks like there's omnibuses floating around that you should be picking up if you haven't already. But this black book was included in the $80 bundle, where you got the 2 hardcovers and Dreadstar 1, and then the black book, which that looks like that might be worth it if you're a Starlin fan. And then you can pick up the 3-volume omnibuses of Dreadstar. I mean, it looks pretty interesting. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Since I'm over here on Kickstarter, I have... Nope, not doing that. Go over here for a second. I gotta check on my kid, see if she's still asleep. Yep, they look pretty unconscious. So, I have recently, well, I backed the Berserker. I don't know if you heard about the Berserker project, but that was a Keanu Reeves original creation story. I backed that in 2020, I guess it was, and in about a month or two, I should be getting the 3 volumes that I, ordered. This is the David Finch art book, which I backed, which looks just, I know it's going to be just amazing. So this is, come on, get down to some sample. So, it's going to be full, a big book of just illustrations like this. There's him doing a Thanos, a Ghost Rider, Death's Head, Static Shock, Gambit, Judge Dredd. So I backed that project, and that should be coming in. I think those books are being shipped from China or something, and they're being delayed. But this is the one I backed just Thursday, and I backed it right before it closed. This is a book called Hunter Ninja Bear, 360 pages by Chuck Dixon, and it is it's basically like a take on Paper Rock Scissors. It's a 12-issue series as a graphic novel first, and then it'll be broken down into issues probably and go into comic book shops. But you have a couple of hunters, a couple of ninjas, and then this thing that is possessed as a bear or something like that. And it has this hunter beats bear, bear beats ninja, ninja beats hunter. So there's, anyway, some sort of an interesting idea here, and it's by Chuck Dixon. So this, I think, is already it just closed, and that should ship in the next month. So gotta definitely, well, you can't get this now. This is already closed. The opportunity to get this is closed Friday. But all the really interesting stuff is happening outside of comic shops and outside of Big Two distribution right now. In my opinion, I don't know. I've taken my kids into the comic shops, and I take them in there, and I'm I see some stuff maybe by Scout Comics or Miller World, and I picked up that stuff. But anyway, okay, let me get back to what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my Sunday show, Let's Draw, where I am blocking in an hour to 2 hours every Sunday to dedicate to draw. And then this is my, I'm using YouTube to have an accountability partner and also, just have stuff to do. Because it's been years, and I realized, like, if I don't make myself draw, I will find other things to do and that are not as valuable. So this is my Sunday show, and then Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the morning, Deacon and I, which I'm sure you know Deacon or know of Deacon. Yeah, I'm happy to. I probably missed a bunch of stuff. It's a lot bigger than that. Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the morning, Deacon and I do a news, politics, culture talk show for an hour, and at 6:30 in the morning. So that's what I'm doing with my YouTube channel. I'm not doing Contest of Champions, anything, content or anything else. And so I was like, I want to do something, but I just can't bring myself to even try to do Contest of Champions stuff. So migrated my my channel here. Let's see if we can. Oh yes. Well, not just that, but like, I got kids, and like, I would say it's 99% burnout, and then like also, yeah, I got young kids, and like they need my like attention all the time, and I was just like, the fun level of it like went way down for me. So I don't know, I'm sort of in a situation where I can't just drop it and quit. Well, I mean, I can. I'm not playing the game exactly, maybe at all, but if I go anywhere, I have to figure out who to handle the server over to, and I don't really want to do that or trust anyone, to be honest. Yeah, your kids are grown in a way. That sounds like, for 1 second it's like, oh, like, oh, I got some free time, but like, I don't want free time. I want to have this problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would hate for my kids to be gone. I just that you want some me time also occasionally. So and that's what the contest always was. It was just like, oh, I don't have anything else to do, and I just need some recreation. And it was fine. That was fun and challenging for a little bit, but more so the amount of time it takes to do anything and be successful is just a tremendous amount of time. I just really can't justify it. And I'm not very good at this game, and I'm unwilling to spend the amount of time necessary to be good, and I can't figure out why I would want to in the first place. Like, what's the benefit of being able to be Thronebreaker or whatever? Like, bragging rights? I'm good. So So my objective here is to do something that is good enough. And I'm not happy with these things, but these are weird things. He doesn't even have them in this image. Every image of Reed, his armor is like just drawn differently. So I don't even know. I think I actually like his Rocafort stuff. Of course I do. Of course I like Rocafort better. Rocafort did a book I just backed called Groken 2, and that is going to be beautiful. You should check that out. Well, you like cosmic stuff. Well, maybe you like other stuff. This is more like fantasy something. Whoops. It's just, I think the Rocafort's art is so good. Open to... I'm trying to think if there is anything that's cosmic-ish. I mean, aside from Starlint's own stuff. So this is a book that he launched in 2020, I guess, and I missed it. I missed the window. And then he, a month ago, was like, okay, we're going to do this sequel to it. And so I picked up this Groken and his sketchbook, but this probably won't deliver until next year. But the stuff that I have seen this dude produce is just next level imaginative and colorful. So I don't know of anything that's in the zip code of like 70s cosmic stuff off the top of my head. The magnets turned on, so they kind of lock together if I'm not careful. Buckaroo Banzai. I knew I recognized the name. Couldn't exactly say that I knew where from, though. I knew I recognized the name. The Simian Defense Forces. all gone. It's a ghost town. And we were doing interesting stuff for a while, but you can't keep it up forever. And everybody that had ambitions of being any good at the game couldn't justify hanging out anymore either. Stuff might be so small on a 3.5-inch trading card, you might not even see it at all. I can't stand this. I'm gonna have to go back and redesign that altogether. I'm gonna leave it in there for markers at the moment, but it's just, I don't like it. So, Rocafort's version almost looks like an exoskeleton, whereas the stuff that Art Theibert has been doing, it looks like it's like segmented armor, you know? And I just don't, you can't mix the two. You can either do it as exoskeleton or you can do it as armor. But I think it just works better at not whatever I'm doing. I'm pretty happy with the gun grip. His guns are also something that are very silly, like he's never held a gun before, like this. Like it's a laser, but it has a revolver chamber. And every time you see him shooting another gun, it's a different looking gun. Oh, okay. So this is probably where I picked up this stuff from. It's got some sort of a triangular sighting mechanism, but it's got revolver things and it shoots lasers. I don't know. So I was going to come back in here and put in like maybe some curves in there. I put them in here, but I'm not happy with it. I might go back and take a closer look at that. And then these guns, they look totally different too, but these are Rocafort's guns. So these are probably more accurate to Theibert's vision. Throw some other titles and stuff that you're into. What, like, if you're still buying comics at comic shops, what are you into? What are you buying? What are you into? I will tell you this. I call it Comicscape, but it's not. It's like a Brazilian dude. And the only way that you can get it is to order it at iconiccomics.com. But this is a horror book called, oh, it's a super tiny window. Here, let me flip that for a second. This is another one that I got that's just like super great. This is called Long Harbor. This was a campaign that an artist named Alejandro Mirabal wrote and did all the art for. Yeah, about a year or two ago. Now you can get it fulfilled through Iconic Comics and maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But you can get it from Iconic Comics website. Those guys are pretty hostile to Comicsgate, so I won't be buying from them anymore. But this thing is this is an amazing book. If you're into John Carpenter's The Thing, this is right up your alley. Hold on, I heard a noise in the house, so I must check on the kid. And she's out. So this story follows a team that are going to check out, I think, like a lost radio signal or something, and they're on a ship out at sea, and there's a captain who I guess maybe he took his daughter with him. It's been a while since I read it. And they arrive at where the radio signal is, and there's just these fish bodies everywhere. And I guess it's low tide, so the bodies are all over the beach, and they have to hike to shore. And weird stuff starts happening, and including, like, this guy kicks this body of this fish, and like it starts grabbing at him, but then nobody else sees it. This is great. This is a great book. Long Harbor. He's on my list of, like, if he makes something else, I'm on it. So I kind of want to, like, switch up and work on something else for a little bit. I probably should do that, because I'm so not happy with this armor version of his stuff. Oh, I see he said something over here. Swamp Thing, Daredevil, Strange, Clea, not the original Steven. Oh, that's stuff you're into right now. Wait, Captain Carter, DC versus Vampires. DC Horror presents DC versus Vampires. Is that something new that they're doing? Is that their new version of Deceased? And is Clea the current Doctor Strange? Oh, whoops. Get that back in there. I know that they kind of did like a Strange was like off world for a little while, and they kind of did a pass the torch type story. She is the new for the moment. Yeah. DC versus Vampires. I think they did when they were doing Deceased. I mean, that was obviously like I think that was like an Elseworlds thing because they killed everybody. There was like they had Wonder Woman being a zombie or what have you. What have you. So I want to catch this one and move it just a little bit. Actually, I kind of like where that one is. So let's grab this one. She's the new Doctor Strange. For the moment, Death Code comics. Yeah, I was just talking about. I was talking about Death of Superman the other day. It was on the morning show on Death of Superman. We were talking about it's the 30th anniversary, and apparently DC is going to do like 30th anniversary of Death of Superman. They're going to do some sort of a not an homage, but they're introducing a new character that's like do not Doomsday, but kind of kind of I have to look it up and see what it was. But I was going through my comics I still have, which is not that many anymore, and um, because I was setting up my studio, my for the show and for the Monday through Friday show, the Your Two Dads show, was setting up my studio stuff, and so I was going through old books to see what was going to end up on the shelf behind me here, and I found that I have a copy of Superman 75, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get it back in '94. I'm pretty sure I got it much later, and it's not even like nice and neat or anything. I remember way back then I had it and it was like in black mylar, and the one I have now is like uh, the the one with the Superman's ripped up cape flowing in the wind and kind of a little bit beat up. I don't know why I was talking about Death of Superman? Oh, because they did Deceased, and then Deceased they did like all of the superheroes. And this is different than Blackest Night too, because they did the same thing in Blackest Night, where they like Blackest Night made them like zombie lanterns or something. But in Deceased, they actually died and became zombies and were like murking the world. Neighbors are playing bass. Um, but Deceased was actually kind of interesting. I think I'm gonna put some notches on the end there. Too much deletion. And now that definitely makes whatever I did up here look wrong, because it is wrong. Ooh. That's good enough. I mean, like, it's a tiny detail. I just want it to look not quite like a box. And some of this should be just done in shades or whatever. I'll come back in with that later. That's a good enough shape for the moment. See, this is now the first thing I started with was like, oh, I'm gonna do read. And my original gag for the card was gonna be, I want to have the viewer of the card looking right down the barrel of the whatever the hell pistol thing that is, and I wanted the center of the pistol sights to line up right with his eye. So I put like a little sight scope up here or something, so that kind of made like a line, and it can become like apparent that he's looking right down the line at you. But then I had this idea last week on the show. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to make him smaller and take up less of it. and that's still going to be that part of the gag. But then the rest of the gag was that you won't even notice this when you see the final card. You won't even see this because you'll be looking right here at Whitney's butt. So, so that's the gag. And to get to that fun part of the gag, I must now just finish drawing Reed, which is like, it's going to be less fun than drawing that. So, but here we are. I want to make sure that I get his suit, right. Still asleep. I don't know what I'm hearing. I'm going to switch to pen and go a little more loose. It's all of this armor stuff that I'm trying to draw sharp lines with. I want to go a little more loose, especially here where I think his, what'd you call this? Holster strap thing. Stabilization up. And right here, it's going to be a little bit bunched up because his I am so tempted to just erase all of this. I don't like this body armor style. I mean, I just don't like it. Maybe it'll look okay once it's like rendered or whatever. I think it's gross. All right, so his holster thing seems to zip across his chest as well. And in this image, which is also Theibert, I like this. He's not super consistent from image to image. I mean, it's the same artist drawing the same costume. It looks totally different. I don't think anybody cares. I think I care more than anybody in the planet, and I don't care that much. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Let me go back to see that other. It's like he just draws some shapes overlapping and then just was like, that's good enough. That's good enough. He has some sort of a pattern thing going on here. Move that for scale. Oh, my soundtrack stopped. My soundtrack stopped, and I'm not even playing. I'm not even talking that much. So running out of time. Oh, it's gonna be weeks before I get to draw a butt. This is in the wrong position. What happened? Where'd it go? Come on. Well, F. Oh my god, all of it. It's like all gone up here. Well, that's frustrating. Why did my app just skip backwards like a bad amount? Oh, and this is all undrawn. Just got dicked over by Clip Studio Paint. It's not even really responding. Ah, there we go. Come on, get all the way back up to where I was. I need to not make any changes until I get it fixed. I must have pushed some terrible button. Maybe it's my tablet or something, but like literally an hour's worth of tweets. Yeah, now it's coming back in. Ooh, that was scary. Why would it have done that? All right. Save. Derp. What I was trying to do was rotate this thing so I can finish this line. So, Buckaroo, did you watch the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness flick? And if so, what'd you think? Did you like it? As a Doctor Strange fan, were you satisfied with the movie, or did you have any issues with it? I only watched it like, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week. Yeah, I think I watched it last week. Getting near the end of nap time. Didn't get that much done this week. Gonna have to tune this up a little bit better too. This is okay. Grip, I'm pretty happy with the pistol grip. I might need to come fix his gloves in a little bit, but only to just give it a little more push to make sure he's got his non-dominant hand on the slide equivalent of whatever this thing is. I'm gonna come back and just redesign all of this. Like, I mean, I tried to do what art does here in various different images, but I just don't think it looks great. And I mean, even this that he has looks better than it certainly looks better than this. So I'm not exactly sure what this suit of armor he has is or does. But anyway, I'll tune it up. That's what I can do in Vector, is get it looking a little sharper. All right. I kind of want to just put roughs in here for edges. I think I can get his waistcoat real quick. All right, guys. Unfortunately, that's all I can do today. That's all I can make time for. I had a great time talking to you, Buckaroo, and I sure do welcome you back in the future. Whoever the rest of you are, this is my Sunday show where I hope you will be my accountability partner to make sure that I spend some time doing art. So please kindly consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like or whatever, a comment. This is the live stream chat doesn't let you save your comments if you chatted in the thing, but if you watch this later or whatever, I'm just gonna throw a line in here for now as a marker. But tomorrow I'll put a notification reminder up for next week, and then you can sign up for notifications. Otherwise, during the week, Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning, Deacon and I will cover the news and talk politics, and occasionally we have a guest dad on Your Two Dads, and then I will be back here on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. and it'll be time for us to draw. Occasionally, I threw a line in there. I didn't mean to. Occasionally, I drop in at other times during the week, and if I do, it'll probably be drawing of some kind, but I can't promise when it would be that I would do that. These are just the times that I sort of allocate to definitely be drawing. So it has been a good time. Frustrate myself a little bit with my mistakey mistakes, but that's what I get for spending 25 years not drawing like I should have been. So, all right, thanks for watching, everybody. I promise, next week's going to be like even better than this. It's going to be so much better. You won't want to miss it. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the morning, and I'll talk to you later. I'm going to go play with my kids. Bye, everybody.